I think Seattle overall has struggled, but they haven't been offensively what they were last year. And you saw, remember what they did in the playoffs last year, and all of a sudden they couldn't execute offensively. But they're in a good division too. That's a very good division. There are a lot of good teams. Every team in that division is very good. So one of them isn't going to make the playoffs. It's going to be Seattle this year.
Well, now that Seattle has no quarterback, they have Geno Smith for the next 4 to 8 weeks. I think they're pretty much done.
That was gruesome. You see what happened to his finger? That was gruesome.
Yeah. Someone needs to talk to Aaron Donald because that's like the third quarterback he's done that to in the last 2 years, and it's not.
But I tell you what, Russell, I really like Russell Wilson. I mean, he's been a very good quarterback over the years.
I think he's done with
Carroll
Seattle.
needs to get fired.
I think he's done with Seattle.
Yeah, he's coming over to the East Coast.
I don't know if he's going to the Giants, but I think he's done with the Seattle Seahawks. And
so is Pete Carroll. He should get fired.
Well, he probably will. And what are your thoughts of Matthew Stafford?
I like Matthew Stafford. I thought he was with a bad team. I mean, you were talking about the guy who has the most passing yards to not win a division or a playoff game, and I think both of those will end this year.
What are you doing over there?
MVP.
Well, I don't think he's
Matt Stafford is the MVP of the league
right now. No, he's not.
Him or Brady.
Kyler Murray's had a great season. Kyler Murray's has been great. Lamar Jackson has been ridiculously good.
He had 2 good games.
Good games.
One great
game. Don't count out Zayvon Collins.
Okay, so the Jets on Sunday early morning. What did you think of the game? What stood out to you?
I think they can't execute in the first half. It's the same thing every game. You're wondering what they're thinking, what their game plan is going into coming out of the national anthem. It just seems that they don't realize the game is starting.
What do you think this Denzel Mims thing is? It doesn't make any sense to me. They're not giving any answers. Robert Saleh. There's so many people in the press. There's so many fans writing to the Jets. He's not giving straight answers on why Denzel Mims is not seeing more passes. He saw one pass last week at 30 yards. I mean, he's got 2 catches for over 70 yards, and they don't throw him the ball. I don't understand it.
Yeah. I think that with the offense they have now, and you're going to have bumps and bruises because of a rookie quarterback. So, and you're going to make the best decisions either. But that's who he was. That's who he was in college. He's a risk taker, and you can't really hold that against him because that's always is what he's been. That's what the Jets drafted. I like the fact about the quarterback that he doesn't. He doesn't seem to get down and let it affect him. He seems to come right back and continue to try to force things.
He's confident. He's a Brett Favre type of guy.
You know? Yeah, but again, with Denzel Mims is a guy that they specifically drafted to make a difference on offense. A guy that can game break, a guy that can beat teams downfield. If they didn't re-sign Robbie Anderson, they wanted a guy like Mims to provide what he provided, which is a game-breaking ability to beat just about anybody on defense on a long pass play. And they don't use him, and they don't even line him up. And I don't understand that. There's a lot that is not clear to me yet watching them play because they're very confusing with how they play in the first half and why they have such issues executing in the first half than they do in the second half. There are things they do well. Like it seems like they do the hurry-up offense well. It seems like they have a decent running game when they employ it the right way, but they pass too much. And then if you pass too much, the play-action pass isn't going to work.
Well, I think they should be starting them off in shotgun. And there's 2 players that really stood out to me the last 2 weeks. Elijah Vera Tucker, who has been one of the best guards in football the last 2 weeks. He's starting to get it. And another guy that really is, Jamison Crowder, has looked really, really good since he's come back from his injury. So hopefully as the season progresses after this bye week, we see a little bit more offense. Zach says he's going home, working and trying to get better. So that's a good sign for the Jets. Are you surprised about Jared Goff having the season that he's had? I know they're 0-5, the Lions, but he's played well. He's played very well.
What rough losses the last 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can't – that game against the Ravens where the guy kicks a 65-yarder, to win. And
record-setting.
Tips the crossbar, then goes over. And then this week, after they make that great comeback, Minnesota scored, again with a long field goal. They are cursed in a specific way. I don't know who's worse as a franchise, them or the Jets. It's really close. It seems like the Lions play better and they have more bad breaks, especially now. But the last 2 weeks, man, to lose games that way when you played so well and when they have so much already that they have against them, when you consider the whole history, they've never made the Super Bowl and all that.
One playoff win.
He needs to change that whole environment. And losses like that are what fans generally think of when they think of the Lions.
You're not impressed with Jared Goff?
I am, but I think it's more than why they didn't win those games is bigger than Jared Goff. It's just the Lions' aura. There's something there, just like the Jets. There's something there that the fans recognize, and when you have losses like that, no matter how well a quarterback plays, I think Campbell's done a great job as a coach. But they're 0-5.
Jeff loves him.
Ultimately, that's all.
Jeff loves Campbell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's looked great. And I think Jared Goff, he had talent. I mean, the reason why they made the trade, I think, is because Stafford was a little bit better of a fit for the offense they wanted to run.
The Saints and Washington, are you surprised? The Saints, it keeps going back and forth. Jameis Winston has one really, really bad game, and then he has a good game. He has one really bad game, and then he has a good game.
That's who he is. That's who he's been.
Are you surprised that the Saints knocked off a Washington team that has played very good defensively the last 2 weeks, and then goes home against the Saints and lays up a dud? Are you surprised about that?
No, I don't think. I think Washington's okay. I certainly think they're susceptible to losing to anybody, and same with the Saints. I mean, you look at the Saints blowing out the Packers and then losing, to the Giants. So. And the Giants haven't played that poorly either. And that whole division is, that the Cowboys have kind of separated themselves a little bit.
Yeah. Patriots and Texans.
I'm sure Jeff's happy about that.
The Patriots and By the way, Jeff picked the Texans in this game. He told me if you're a betting man.
I was pretty close to
You were. You were. The Patriots at the last 3 minutes of the game came back in the game.
They had their entire offensive line out. How the Texans didn't beat them is a Christmas miracle.
Christmas miracle.
that last couple, like between 3:55 and 4 o'clock, when you had the Green Bay game ending and they can't seem to make a field goal.
Aaron Rodgers is the
5
luckiest
field
man
goals.
on the planet.
Yeah. Then the Patriots winning it. At the same time, Patriots kicked the game-winning field goal. Mason Crosby missed the field goal. And then you had the Vikings kicking their game-winning field goal.
The Vikings of all teams are the ones that make it.
Well, let's get into the Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers debacle that this guy is saying. Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers threw 344 yards and 2 touchdowns, 27 for 39. They won. What are you talking about?
He should have lost.
Yeah, shoulda, coulda, woulda, but he won.
Very easily lost.
But he won. It doesn't matter.
Devontae Adams had a game of a lifetime.
Yeah, well, that's good. Who threw him the ball? So there you go. But what are your thoughts about Green Bay 4-1? I mean, the team. I mean, without Aaron Rodgers, this team has no wins. I mean, it's amazing what this guy could do to a roster. Are you surprised?
What Peyton Manning was with the Colts, I think. Remember when Peyton Manning left the Colts to 1-15?
Yep. Are you surprised with this, the way the roster is set up? Are you surprised that this team is 4-1?
No. I think that they're the best team in that division, and I mean Rodgers is the best quarterback in that division, so they should win. I thought the way they got pounced by New Orleans in Week 1 was surprising. Just like I still can't figure out how Pittsburgh beat Buffalo in Week 1.
Right.
That to me is
the blocked punt.
The biggest conundrum going, because when it happened, I'm like, yeah, that's kind of surprising me, but we'll see. Pittsburgh really hasn't looked that good, and Buffalo.
Speaking of Pittsburgh,
are we still talking about Green Bay? Is that what's going on?
No, we just brought up the Green Bay Packers.
I wanted to know when you were going to get into the Green Bay segment, because I also wanted to bring up how wonderful it is that Aaron Rodgers is trying to lose. He's going to fall off a cliff, but he's purposely tanking that team.
Hold on, you realize that he is a missed field goal away.
Oh God!
From being 3-2.
Oh,
right.
Okay, 3.
And
okay.
Again, he really hasn't looked great yet.
What are you talking about?
Every team.
He's like second in the league with every single statistic.
But you want to know where that argument falls short very seriously, is because if he was trying to tank, he was down. You did.
No, I didn't. I have them winning the division.
First week of the season after they lost to the Saints, you were like, who knows? He's trying to play his way out of Green Bay. He's purposely trying to tank it.
All right. He's not playing well. He has a 65% completion percentage.
He is playing well.
He's got 1,300 yards. He has 10 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. Oh, my God, it's a terrible season. And look who's throwing the ball to.
And by the way,
look who's throwing the ball to.
And by the way, he is playing well, because if he was trying to play his way out of Green Bay, he was down 2 points with 37 seconds left and got his team back into field goal range magnificently and ended up winning that game. But, that's not too bad for a guy that's trying to lose and get his way out of Green Bay.
I mean, right now, I think he's second in the league in touchdowns. I mean, and look who he's throwing the ball to. Nobody except one. Devontae Adams. That's it.
Receiver in football.
Yeah, best.
And Devontae Adams did not have the game of a lifetime. You know who was better on Sunday? Speedy. Tell him.
Jamar Chase.
Kadarius Toney.
Jamar Chase had a pretty good.
Kadarius Toney.
All right,
Rookie record.
Steelers and Broncos. A lot of people thought the Steelers were done, but Ben Roethlisberger played pretty well against a Broncos defense that has played well week in and week out.
Right, Najee Harris.
What are your thoughts with the Steelers' 2-3 record? They've slowly but surely seem like they're slipping back into this race now that the Browns lost against the Chargers.
Yeah, but I look, Steelers have, Roethlisberger's obviously proved himself as a winner. I think they have some talent, but the Steelers don't have what it takes to win that division. It's certainly not better than Baltimore, and I think Cleveland's better than them as well. And Cincinnati probably is more on their level than anybody else. Mm-hmm. So the Steelers are going down overall. I think you have a guy who's a great quarterback, who's been a great quarterback in his career. Every time you have a guy who's a great quarterback on your team, you have a chance to win.
Mm-hmm. I agree. The Eagles, I called the Eagles to knock off the Panthers. I should have bet on it. I really thought that there was just, and I'm going to tell you this right now. I think the Eagles has a chance to win this week as well. The Eagles are playing good football. Jalen Hurts has slowly but surely been the best quarterback to come out from Alabama or Oklahoma.
You think they're going to beat Kansas City?
I do.
They already played Kansas City.
No, it's not Kansas City this week.
It's the Buccaneers.
The Buccaneers. They're playing the Buccaneers. Yeah, they're playing the Buccaneers.
Sorry.
They're playing the Buccaneers this week, and I think they're home, the Eagles.
Yeah.
So I think, I like what I see with the Eagles defense. They've played very well, and Jalen Hurts is slowly. I know he's not really from Alabama. He came from Oklahoma, but he's the closest thing from an Alabama quarterback.
Mark will claim him.
I think he's been fantastic.
Even though Alabama threw him out of Tuscaloosa.
They did. For Tua. Let's see what that is.
Hawaiian Tebow.
They did.
What are your thoughts about the Eagles and obviously Jalen Hurts knocking off Sam Darnold and the Carolina Panthers?
One thing, when Jeff mentions that, one thing I never understood is why they didn't open up the offense with Jalen Hurts. Obviously, he could, because you've seen how many pass yards he had at Oklahoma. But for some reason, they didn't feel like they could do it with him. And then with Tua, they became this dynamic offense when they could have ran that same type of offense with Hurts. So, I think he's still growing and learning as a quarterback. So you can't. I don't expect Philly to be a playoff team yet. But I
that
think
whole thought with Deshaun Watson going there, that's not happening. So.
No,
that's
I
over.
Think so many people with something like that, and you still don't know exactly the full details, because there is the angle where maybe the Texans had something to do with him because he was making a lot of noise about wanting to be traded. I still really don't know what to believe in all of that. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of unknown about that whole situation. It makes me kind of uncomfortable.
You wonder if that's something that
make me uncomfortable.
You wonder if that's something that's fueled Hurts all year. So
I've been very impressed with Baker Mayfield's toughness. I really have
Wait
been.
a minute. You're saying something positive about Baker Mayfield?
I know, it's a shock.
Oh my God.
Yes,
He makes good commercials.
Yeah, he does make some interesting commercials. But
by the way, Aaron Rodgers has one more yard than Baker Mayfield.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. Look who's Baker's
He has
Daniel
one more
Jones.
yard than a guy trying to lose.
What? No, Baker has 1 yard less, and no one said Aaron Rodgers was trying to lose.
First,
I want the clip pulled up.
By the way, Devonta Smith's doing pretty well.
Yes.
Yes, he is.